Mic check, mic check. What's going on, guys? Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm trying to set up the audio here. Let me know if you guys can hear the music as well. I'm trying to play some music. Do you guys also hear the music? All right, I'm just trying to get my settings right. Music stopped. Let me see. I think it's the song ended. I think it's a new song. I don't know what's going on with my headphones. I can't hear it on my end, but it's showing that it's playing. Welcome to everybody on Spaces, Twitter Spaces. What's going on? Trying to get everything set up here really quick. For some reason, it's not. Let me see if I can join my space here. Here we go. All right, so let me hit listen live over here. It's not. Let me see if I can join my space here. Here we go. All right, so let me hit listen live over here. Let's see if there's a way. I'm hearing myself twice. Let's see if there's a way. Hearing myself twice. Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, so we're gonna have to play a little differently today because I was having issues when I was running the emulator. A lot of people on Twitter were not able to hear me. So today we're going to do it a little bit different. I'm trying to basically run it on my phone as far as the audio, and then you guys will be able to hear it on everyone on Twitter should be able to hear it pretty clearly. And on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, it's gonna be probably a little bit lagging, I think, is what I'm thinking. But it should be fine overall. The picture and audio might be off is the only thing, but we'll just deal with that today. That's fine. So welcome to another Let's Talk STEPN. Let me pull myself up here. Turn on my light. Oh, wrong color. Here we go. Welcome to another Let's Talk STEPN, guys. We have a few things to talk about today. Let me pull it up here. The main thing going on today, of course, is the big update that we got here today, this morning, right? So that's going to be the main thing that we're probably going to be talking about, and then I'll have people jump on if you guys have any questions. We'll do a little Q&A. I don't want to run 2 hours today. Usually our sessions are running 2 hours, and that's really long. So we're aiming to hit 1 hour today and stay on time for that. That's still long, but let's try to keep it to that point. So 1 hour is going to be the cutoff for the show today. So let's pretty much dive right in. The first thing that we're seeing, I did a thread on this. If you guys haven't seen it, Bitcoin X Daily on Twitter. And basically today, this is the updates that we saw today. So we're going to run through all these updates. We're going to take a look at, prices and all that. We can probably start with the prices. Just take a quick look at where we are today. GMT is at $1.08. So up about 10% today. Let's see how it's been doing. Last 7 days up 15%. Now the thing with GMT is that it moves with Bitcoin. So it's not GMT. I don't really see it as a indicator of what's really going on. Because that GMT moves more with Bitcoin than anything else. So it's not a big indicator on what's actually happening within STEPN as of late. Here you can see GST. So GST, I think, is a better indicator of what's going on with STEPN. GST on Solana today is at 6 cents here. You guys can see if we look at the last 7 days, it's up 10%. Last 2 weeks, it's up 2%. Last 30 days, it's still down overall 22%. Taking a look here at GST. Wait, this is still Solana? Are these both Solana? All right, here's GST on Ethereum. So this is a big one here. GST on Ethereum has just been dropping like a rock. It's currently been down. It's down basically 4%, and over the last week, it's down 65%. In the last 2 weeks, guys, it's down 85%. That's pretty worrisome to me. And I think that's something that we need to talk about today, because although we have all these new shiny new updates and stuff like that, what's been covered up is this 85% drop in the last 2 weeks on the GST on the Ethereum side. May not address it. We just gotta wait and see. The thing with the town halls, man, they are all completely scripted. All the answers are scripted. Everything is basically scripted. So if they want to avoid talking about what's going on the new realm, they're gonna avoid it. Sorry guys, if you guys are on YouTube, it should be back up and running now. My computer literally died. And I had to restart it, so sorry about that. So let's jump into the juicy details of what is going on with this new update today. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, the first thing that they updated is the point redistribution. So they finally added this feature where you can reallocate your attribute points by paying on a common, it's 1 GMT per point. On an uncommon, it's 2 GMT per point. And I don't have any rare epics, but I imagine that would be 3 or 4 GMT per points. If it's any different, let me know. I don't know, because I don't have any epics or rares. The next update that we got on today's update is the fusion feature, which again, it's another previously talked about feature. Finally got added to the game. Basically, you burn one of your sneakers to improve the base stats of your main sneaker. So simple enough feature. Is it worth doing? That's gonna depend on if you have sneakers that you can just burn, and it doesn't affect your overall energy. And it's also gonna depend on your base stats. If you already have really good base stats, this is something you don't need to do. If you don't have good base stats, then something that you might consider doing if you have more than enough sneakers to burn. The next update was the success rate improvement for gems, for gem upgrades, double sneaker rates, and rare sneaker rates. So basically, you gotta pay a bunch of money. If you look here, I'm pulling it up on YouTube, on Twitter Spaces. You won't be able to see this, but it's basically 2,000 GMT or $2,000. On the double sneaker rate, you'll get a 5% boost for $2,000. On a what is this one? The gem upgrade success rate, you'll get a 1% boost on that. So instead of 35%, for example, it'll bring you up. I'm guessing, I don't know if it's 36% or if it's gonna bring you 1% overall. So I'll have to look more into that to see what that number actually is. And then the last one is the rare sneaker rate. Again, pay $2,000 or 2,000 GMT for a 1% boost on that. My thoughts on this is that this is definitely for the big boys who want to gamble. I don't see 99% of the community ever using any of these functions because it's just insane to use. You really gotta want to be lighting your money on fire and donating to the cause of STEPN, because it's honestly cheaper to just buy the gem coin that you want or the rare sneaker that you want, or for $2,000 you get a lot more sneakers on any of the realms. So for me, I would never probably use any of these power up features. I don't see a reason for anyone else to ever use these power up features, but I'm sure some people will, as always, right? The next thing, let me see. The next thing here is minting scrolls. So minting scrolls no longer will be bought or sold using GMT. You will now buy the mint scrolls using Solana, BNB, or Ethereum. I think this is a good change here. Remember that the team, when anything in the marketplace, the team takes a 6% fee. So if it's in GMT, the team probably had to take, whatever the 6% it was making, it was probably selling it into the market to make that actual profit, right? So that puts sell pressure from the team itself, if they're selling GMT onto the market in order to take their profit, right? So I think this was this should have probably came out with this, because I don't think by buying and selling in GMT, you're not burning any GMT. So it didn't make sense unless they were burning all the GMT they were earning from their 6% side. So they switched it to Solana, BNB, and Ethereum. So now all that 6% fee that they're making, now they can just sell the Solana, BNB, and Ethereum and take their profit. They don't have to put sell pressure on GMT. So I thought this was a good change. Now the other things that were here, 5 and 6, where they optimize wallet functions and fix bugs. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but that's usually seen in every update. Now there's 2 bonus things that were added here that were not on the release notes. So the first bonus one is a VIP subscription, where basically you pay, I'm guessing, a monthly fee for some VIP perks, right? Now we don't know what that price is yet, but the perks right now are you get a VIP tag next to your name. So that could be something that people might go after once there's actual social 5 features within the game. There's no point for that right now. You get a 2% chance to keep a scroll after minting. So I mean, that's interesting, but for 2%, it's going to depend on what the cost of that monthly subscription is. And then the same thing with the gem upgrades. You have a 3% chance to keep a gem upgrade if it's unsuccessful. Again, I don't know what the cost is. What is interesting here, though, is that this is through iTunes. So that means that whatever the team makes on this VIP subscription thing, they have to pay 30% of it to Apple. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know if maybe to keep the app running, they needed to do something to bring in profit for Apple. Like they had to pay Apple something. I'm not sure. I don't know why, because these things really don't make, I would never subscribe. If these are the only three perks, I would not subscribe for it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I'm sure that that'll develop as we go. And the second bonus thing that was changed within this update that was not in the release notes is that they removed the 3 energy requirement for GMT earnings to simplify the gameplay. So before, if you wanted to earn GMT, you needed to have a minimum of 3 energy. That was a requirement in order to earn GMT. You no longer need that. With 2 energy, with 1 sneaker, as long as you have level 30 sneaker or a rainbow sneaker, you'll be able to earn GMT. There's no more requirements on the energy. A lot of these things were updated as well in the white paper. If you guys want to check that out and see some more specifics on those things. And that's pretty much it as far as that. That's pretty much everything that was changed that I know of. I don't know if there are any other changes that I don't know of. There possibly could be. But I would like to bring somebody on stage to see what your thoughts are on this. Let me see what's going on here. All right, I'm running 2 different things at the same time, so it's a little bit complicated right now. Hold on. All right, when I bring somebody on, I'm going to have to pull it up on my PC here so that everyone on the YouTube live can hear it. If you guys have any thoughts, any opinions on any of these updates today, make sure to request. If you've already requested, request again because I can't see it. I don't see any requests. If not, then I'll talk about some of my opinions on these things. So I guess I'll start here with the first one, the attribute point redistribution. I mean, finally we got it. They've been talking about this forever now, and I think it's not bad as far as the pricing. It's basically what it seems like right now. It's $1 per point that you want to redistribute. I can't say this word. I don't know what's going on with me today. Redistribute, right? Now, I still think that they should have added a one-time option where you can somehow get maybe 10 points for free that you can do, right? As a way to kind of amend what they did before with the, what do you call it? I don't even remember the name of it right now. The restoration mechanic that just kind of came out of left field. I still feel like there should be something. My idea was maybe at level 30, if you hit level 30, you can get, let's say, 10 free points that you can reallocate for free or something like that. That would incentivize a lot of people to get to level 30, even with GMT earning not out. So I still think that they owe the community something like that. Will we see it? Will we get it? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest. I highly doubt we get that or anything close to that. But I do think that they owe the community something like that. But looking at this, the prices are not too bad. You know, it's basically $1 per point that you want to reallocate. So on commons is not bad. On uncommons it's $2. You know, so it's just gonna depend. If you want to completely redo your sneaker, then it's gonna be a little expensive. But it's not terrible, right? It's not terrible. And I think for most people, they might just want to switch a few things. I think moving a few things into the comfort slots. I think if you can get between 10 to 20 points in your comfort slots, is going to help a lot as far as that the restoration mechanic. So, you know, getting to 20, it'll be about $20 for a common. It'll be about 40 for a uncommon. And I think that'll help. It's not too expensive, so I don't mind this. I still do think that they owe the community some free reallocation points though. The second thing, the fusion. Again, this is just another way to be able to burn sneakers. I don't personally, me myself, I don't have a reason probably to ever use this. but I can understand why some people may want to use this. And I'm sure some people will be using this feature. Now, for how long? I don't know, right? Because if you have a main sneaker and that's your main sneaker, how many times are you gonna have to do this fusion thing, right? So again, this is probably more for people that have more money. They just want to, they're just bored. They want to light up more money on fire. They don't really care. Then I can see how this is used, long term. But other than that, I think maybe, most people, if they use it, they're going to use it maybe one time on their main sneaker, maybe twice, maybe one on GST earner, one on the GMT earner. Other than that, I don't really see any more use cases for it, but it is another way to burn sneakers, I guess. So this and the enhancement features, it gives more opportunities to burn sneakers. The third one here is the GMT power-ups. Again, I will never use GMT power-ups. I don't think 99% of the community will ever use the GMT power-ups. They're ridiculously expensive, and the reward that you get for them is just not worth it, at least for me personally. I don't think for any smaller users is going to be worth it for them either. And at the end of the day, it's going to be cheaper to buy a gem for $2,000. You can buy a gem for way less than that. Like, you can buy pretty high-level gems for less than $2,000. A rare sneaker, you can buy a rare sneaker for way less than $2,000. And for the double sneaker rate, you can buy two sneakers for like for less than $200, right? So why would you spend $2,000 to maybe get a higher chance at at upgrading gems or rare sneakers or two sneakers? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I would never use it. I don't think the majority of community will ever use it. But I can see, how somebody may use it if they're bored and they just have a lot of money that they want to light up on fire. Minting scrolls, no longer bought with GMT. I already told you guys I like this change. I think this is a good change for the reasons that I stated before. If they were taking the 6% fees in GMT and they were taking profits on that, they had to put sell pressure on GMT. So I think it's only the right idea to have it in Sol, BNB, or ETH. Let's skip over to the VIP subscription. This one's interesting. If they develop this into something more than just these three options, it's definitely interesting. I'm sure some people will pay for it just to have the special VIP profile tag on the sneakers once the SocialFi things come into play. And it's interesting. It's another stream of revenue. Could be interesting. I don't know. We'll have to see how it develops. I still think there needs to be more to it. This can't be just the reason, for the VIP, for anyone to go into VIP. Also, we don't know what the cost is for this yet, so we'll have to see what that cost is. And the last one is the remove through energy. Again, I do think that's a step in the right direction because this whole thing that they've done with GMT has completely overcomplicated the entire GMT earning system. I think removing this takes one more complexity out of it, but I still think it's a bit overcomplicated for the average user, and they need to probably redesign it a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure what the solution is. But it is very, very complicated. All right, so we have someone requesting. We got Cozy sending some requests. All right, I'm going to try to pull it up. Hold on, give me a sec here, because I have to bring it up on my PC as well so that YouTube Live can hear it. So let me bring you up first. Hold on, add as speaker. Now let me join the space. Bring it up, and I'm going to mute myself on my PC as well so that YouTube Live can hear it. So let me bring you up first. Hold on. Add as speaker. Now let me join the space, and I'm going to mute myself on my OBS so that I think everyone should be able to hear me through Twitter, I believe. All right, Cozy, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
What's up, Jay?
How you doing,
Not
brother?
too bad, man. I'm kind of thrown back by the update, but there's a few things that obviously could be take use of, as you said. So I think all in all, I'm curious to see how they sell it on Wednesday at the town hall. I think that's probably the best way to put that.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree. I'm wondering, you know, I'm wondering how it's gonna go. Like I still I just went over. Like there's a few things that I feel like are in the right direction. But then there's a few that are like they really have they're not either positive or negative. Like they're just kind of, you know, they I don't think they really affect anything. But there's what I do like about it. There's no like big like, oh my god, this is a complete miss. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I see that stands out like that. Like this is a complete miss. There's either something that's, that I think is steps in the right direction, um or basically it just doesn't really affect the overall, project with the
What
update.
what I would be super curious to know is because I got the impression that a bunch of these types of updates were kind of behind, like they had them kind of locked and loaded and ready to fire before, and then we got smacked. So I don't know if maybe some of these were prepped to be released, and then when minting farms really became a problem, they had to pivot towards Smack. Like I'm really curious. I obviously I hope that some people who are ambassadors now will maybe have a chance to like chat with some of those people who have a little bit more closer conversations, or even like them themselves if they hear this later. If they can give some context on that to see if this stuff was kind of being prepared in advance, because I don't know what your opinion is on that. Obviously, being in that situation and how close you were to them and such. Like, do you feel like most of these things were things that were kind of maybe perfected and put together, and they wanted to release it now, or do you feel like some of these things were kind of in the back burner and then Smack maybe was pushed forward?
That's a good question, man. I do feel like they did have to change, like maybe things like Smack and what's the other thing, the decks and all that. Maybe they had to kind of pivot, and that became their main priority at a certain point. That maybe all these things got pushed back. I do think that's a possibility. I don't know. They never spoke about any of this. They really the communication is really not very good within the team itself. So I wouldn't really know why or what happened. But I do know that there was a lot of features that they spoke about months ago that never happened. Like the panda skins that we're still waiting on that. Weren't they supposed to do something for like a triple GST earning event, and that never happened. And like a bunch of different things that they spoke about, and now all of a sudden all these things just randomly got dumped on us in one upgrade. So I do think that they kind of had to focus on the smack and maybe on the decks and all that to get another stream of revenue. Maybe I don't know, but something most definitely changed within the team that they had to make these pivots, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's been a while. I think that I've been on here and chat, so I'll give some context because obviously before we chat like of the detail of some of these things, my current situation is I have 9 sneakers. Ooh, no, I'm actually thinking of 10 sneakers. I haven't ever gone more than I think 11 sneakers. So very interestingly, because I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people are posting that they went from 20 energy and then backpedaled and then went back to either 4 or 9 energy. And then I remember that even some guy, I forget, had mentioned when he commented on my post where I said, yeah, 4 or 9. And then they were like, you know what, maybe 9 is better. So I think there's some people that are trying to find the sweet spot because obviously they're gauging how STEPN's moving forward. But anyhow, I have 9 shoes, 3 uncommons, 12 energy. I've never been higher than 12 energy. How does this affect me? I would say that the reattribution of points, I don't know if I'm going to use it. I looked at it a few times to see if it's beneficial, and I'm already so far along with most of my shoes that there's probably no justified reason to backpedal unless, like you said, maybe I want to throw like 5 to 6 point or 6 points in res because I want to save money, min maxing, or if I notice that my luck is actually just not high enough with my gem, which I did notice actually recently, to get like level 5 mystery boxes, maybe I toss, maybe I give it out a test and throw like, because of my uncommons, that's $2 per point, right? So I could throw like $20 and get like 10 points and then throw that from one to another and maybe get higher luck, if the play is luck. So I think that this allows pivoting to be better, fine tuning. I think that was something that K-Train mentioned and a few other people mentioned, that it needs to be able to be fine tuned. And I think for people who have, who are just starting with the game, I think it's probably most beneficial to them. For people who aren't like completely leveraged into the game, and probably have like 1 to 3 shoes, probably in the common game, maybe they haven't jumped into the uncommons. This isn't too bad. I remember being in that stage, and maybe you assigned 6 to 12 points, and then later you were like, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. I should have put it here. I should have put it there. So with regards to reattribution, I think that's dead on. I think that was something we were looking forward to for ages, and I think that the natural progression from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 respectively of GMT per point, personally I think that feels well. And you said that you agree the same way, right?
Yeah, I think it's fine the way it's set up. Now, the only thing I still feel like they owe the communities something back for what happened with the restoration mechanic, that just kind of came out of left field. Even if it's like 10 points, I think even like it's something so small, right? To just be able to allow users to get 10 points for free at a certain, if they reach a certain level or something like that. Just as a way to like maybe thank users, give something back to the community. I don't know. I still feel like they owe something to the community in that aspect. How do you feel about that?
I get where you're coming from on that, but I think that would be something they're I think they're probably of the perspective of like anybody who's kind of really annoyed and maybe really wants something right away is probably already left. Um, and I think I don't know, this is my personal opinion, so everything from now obviously is going to be my opinion, but I think they've already kind of written off the people that have really, 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 really like been the cash earners, like the ones that they came in this to make money. They wanted to make money. You can tell based on the GMT, costs that it costs to like do these little upgrades. A lot of things that are being changed. Like those who are complaining or angry, who aren't really happy with the direction that things have been changed. I don't see those people pivoting. So I think everyone was kind of waiting for this update to be that be all end all. Oh, look, STEPN is exactly what it was before. But the problem is that STEPN's not going to be exactly what it was before. I think it's going to move in a direction that's going to get better, and hopefully things will start to regulate. And then once people start to see GST kind of rise, ultimately that's the goal, I think, right? Everyone wants GST to rise. I think if some GST rise happens, you're going to see a lot of people happy about it. But I do agree that people want a bone. So if you can give them a bone, give them a bone. So I understand what you're saying when it comes to 10 free points or something like that. But to keep in mind, Jay, they could still do that, right? They could still offer some type of like bonus or whatever. Like they don't have to keep it the exact same cost that they have right now. They could give you like 10 free, but for a certain reason or whatever. Like there's so much now that there's so many different like mechanisms at play. They could literally make a decision on any of this at any point and change it slightly. And that I don't know. You can continue on that when I pivot back to you. But the one thing I wanted to address, because all of the features, I did a thread immediately when it came out, and that was my mistake because people don't make threads right away. They usually wait, and I did one right away because I was like, I don't really have time for this. But this summarizes some things for people that were having blocks and issues of loading and whatever. It was 20 GMT instead of 2000 GMT at the beginning, for all of those, what would you call like level ups or GMT, power ups. So my question to you, Jay, as you finish that last topic that we just did from reattribution, but do you think 20 GMT would have made sense, or do you think that was just as ridiculous, but in the opposite direction?
Um, well, it makes more sense. because 2000 GMT, is just on the other extreme. Now, what would make sense to me, because it's such small moves when you're doing the power up, I'm imagining you can do the power up multiple times. So it would make sense, like if the first one is 20 GMT, the second one, maybe it doubles up to 40, then the third one doubles up to 80, and it kind of goes up. The more times you do it, the more power ups you do, the more it's gonna cost, and eventually it gets up to 2000 GMT. But at that point, when you're spending 2000 GMT, like, you've gone up a long way. It's not just 2000 GMT for a 1% uh, chance to get a gem upgrade success, or a double sneaker or a rare sneaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, no, 100%. And it was actually funny because in a chat that I'm in, we were chatting about that and we saw that it was 20. That's exactly what it was, Jay. It was 20, 40, 60, 80, so on and so forth. But I think it was maxed out. For some of them, like, you can only go 5 levels. So you can't like incrementally like increase it by 10% or something like that, which I don't know, because I don't think anybody got that far, and I don't think anyone's going to get that far now because it said 2000 GMT. I don't know if you saw that, but there was actually probably about 4 or 5 accounts that actually did the GMT power ups. I think to even 2 or 3 levels, and then they ended up having to get refunded the GMT that they spent. So whatever that was, 80 GMT, 60 GMT, or whatever it was, and then they retroactively said, "Oh, no, 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 we made a mistake. That's supposed to be 2000 GMT," which like I said, like, that's why I was asking. Is for me, I thought that was like, oh, 20 GMT makes sense. Like, that means if I want to, risk $20 to get 1% more chance of getting a doubles, like, for me, that made sense. But maybe it was slightly too low, like maybe a little bit too low. But then when they 10 times it, I thought it was an Android user problem because all of the people that were posting it, like, happened to have Androids for the first bit. And then 2 or 3 people were like, I have iPhone and I see the exact same thing, went back in, and sure enough, they had made a quick change to flip it back to 2000 GMT. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know if there's a better sweet spot. Maybe they're gonna find that. Maybe they'll realize that 2000 GMT was a bit excessive.
Yeah, it's not even a 10 times. They 100 times did. So it's definitely excessive, and it's
Horrible math.
and it's basically not a surprise, because it's something that I've noticed the team do a lot. They either they're always at one extreme or the other, and it's like, I don't know why they never go in between, in the middle. But like the AMAs, from every, like, multiple times a week to once a month. With the energy sharing bridge, the same thing, from everything to almost nothing. So I always see that, and I think this is another one of those situations where they went from one extreme to the other. Again, at 2000, I don't think anyone's going to be doing that. It doesn't make any sense to me. The one that you said before, I don't know why they would change it, because that one sounds like it makes a whole lot more sense. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 sounds like it makes way more sense to have it like that. In that way, I think a lot more people would be able to do it, and would want to do it. At 2000, I don't know. I can't find a reason for anyone to ever do that. It makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was ready to do it actually, on a couple things, but then when they told me 2000, I immediately wrote it off. And I mean, that's what we do, right? You kind of like weighing things out in your head, and when it comes to the cost, and I feel like, I don't know, even 1,000 GMT would have been risque, because I guess it is. That was one of the things we mentioned, was that it's permanent, right? So it's a permanent 1% increase. It's a permanent 5% increase. So they probably like saw 20 GMT later, or maybe they actually were meant to put 2,000 or something, and then that's why they flipped out and they're like, oh, no, 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 because I'm sure tons of people started paying for that, because I think some people are holding GMT. As for your VIP club, the VIP club, though, I personally think that that's genius. Like, there's always a premium version of anything. Like, if we be honest, like, anything that exists has a free user option and a paid user option. This guarantees them some cash coming through. As you said, maybe it guarantees Apple some opportunity to pull in some profits or to see some profits from this $122 million company or whatever that has all this money coming in, and that they see some of the money. Apple's probably like, what the fuck, where's my money? But I think the VIP thing could work. I'm just curious because I saw 19.99, but I'm not sure, is that per month? Is there a yearly option, like for an annual subscription? Is there, like, I think there's a few different things that they got to consider for that, but I don't think that's outrageous, because in reality, if I wanted to, if it's only monthly, the thing about Apple is I can subscribe to something for a month, and then, you know, I can bail on it. But I also know that there's some things like Duolingo and stuff like that where you have to commit to a year. And then I don't know, on a STEPN basis, I wouldn't be willing to commit to a year of STEPN because I don't know where STEPN's going to be in a year. So I don't know. That's where I would say is like where those subscriptions come in, how long and of that membership is applied. If it's monthly, I would take a risk for a month. Like it's no different than me throwing $20 at a gem upgrade. Because I basically lose somewhere between 20 to $50 on a gem upgrade. Why wouldn't I spend $20 on a VIP option? I don't care about the label. I know some people do, especially with SocialFi. I think that was a great point by you. That SocialFi, everyone wants that blue tick mark or that blue check in Twitter and stuff to make themselves look more reputable and whatever. So I'm sure that people are going to do that. Whales will do that so they can recognize themselves. And then what was I saying? But then the other things, like the additional chance to keep a scroll. I don't know if if scrolls become more beneficial, like if they're worth more, maybe it would make sense. But right now, screw it, lose the scroll. But I mean, if you look at like ETH, I think some people are struggling to find common scrolls for a bit. So I'm sure maybe like if things come back a bit, maybe that makes sense because it's hard to find a specific scroll, and then you can keep it after you've had one. And I don't know, but I really don't understand this whole gem keeping or the percentage of keeping a gem. Is it because from my understanding, it probably is going to be like one of the three gems that you're trying to put together, you get to keep one of them, or is it that you get to keep all three of them, and then that's your luck, is that you get to keep all three of them, or is it there a luck associated to all three different ones, and then next thing you know, you could end up with all three, you could end up with one, you could end up with none. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of like little elements that are missing from that, but in a nutshell, I would say the VIP club or the subscription for me makes sense. I think people will buy it, people will do it, and especially if it's monthly, I would even go into it, even if I was a lower player.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a good idea, and I think it could develop into something worth doing for some people. And I do somebody tagged me just now in a post saying that it's going to be $19.99 per month. So I do see that now. Yeah, you're right. Like you said, like people, once the SocialFi stuff comes out, people will want that V badge on their on their names, that tag. And then the other question I have, as far as the keep a scroll after minting and the keep a gem after unsuccessful upgrade, is that 2%? Like, is it 2% overall? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of confused on that as well. Do you keep one scroll or both scrolls? I'm guessing the way it's written, it sounds like you keep one scroll, and then with the gems, the same thing. I'm guessing you get to keep one gem out of the three. So it is. I will be interested in hearing them, talk more about that to, explain exactly how that is, because there's really no explanations on that as of now. But yeah, I think overall that could be something that becomes it could become a feature that gets developed into being worth that $20. There's definitely a lot of it gives them a lot of options as what they can do with that. And I think it will have to be developed. I think right now the way it is, like, I wouldn't do it because it's there's no SocialFi, so the badge doesn't do anything. And 2% and 3%, like, I'm not gonna pay $20 per month for a 2% or a 3% chance at keeping one of those things. So for now, I'm not going to do it. If they continue to develop it into something else with better perks and stuff like that, that are actually worth paying $20 a month for, then for sure, like it's something I'll consider doing, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna do it, especially once the social fi aspect of the game comes out and all that. So I understand the move. I and I and I and I think that Apple may have been like, yo, we got to make some money. Like you gotta bring us some money too. Like we've been letting you guys ride, and you're selling all this stuff, you're making all this money, and we haven't made a penny. Like you gotta bring in some revenue. I don't know if obviously I don't know if that happens like that, but I'm just kind of speculating here. I think this is a way to get Apple some money. So maybe to get Apple off their back, sort of thing, and it's another possible stream of revenue. So I don't hate it. I think once it gets developed into something better, it'll definitely be something, that could potentially be worth having. And I I don't know if there's a release yet on it, but I know currently you can't use it. You can't subscribe as of yet. At least when I checked, like an hour or two ago.
Yeah, but to be honest, like just thinking as you were talking there, there's just so much option, like there's so much room for possibilities to, like, I think what's the biggest complaint, because like obviously Jay, you represent the community, and I think a lot of people have kind of more anointed you part of the community because of your visible frustrations for us, right? So I think that a lot of people appreciate you for that. So I'll if I could say so for myself and speak for some of the community, say thank you, like being honest, because that's what you do, and your videos are the what got me into STEPN. So I appreciate you being honest at all costs, um, and obviously putting Bitcoin Daily first, and your opportunities first. But I just think that if you think about the little guy, right, when it comes to the community, like I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to the messages from the community is that they keep giving to the whales. Now there is options that have obviously been released that give the whales better opportunity to make money, but there's actually some opportunity with the VIP club for little fish to actually thrive. And now listen to me here, just like thinking aloud. But if you wanted to do airdrops or contests or things like that, anybody can, subscribe. So what happens if you said like anybody who subscribes in the month of November will will have a chance at blank. I don't know what it is. It could be a chance at, better percentages at minting. It could be a better chance at a genesis. It could be a chance at a drop, whatever. And then the thing is that everybody who's new and who's young will probably jump into that. Now that could be a little sneaky, but at the same time, it gives an easier opportunity for the little guy to jump in there. And I think there's so many different mechanisms or ways that they could play with that, to kind of weed out, whales, I could say. Obviously, they have to feed the whales. That's just what you have to do in order to keep your company going because they're the bulk of the money that's in there. But I think that there's opportunities for them to give back to the small guy. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think there could definitely be a lot of situations where they do promotions, and the promotions are just for those subscribed, and that could be a way to boost subscriptions. And maybe with in the future with either partnerships or realms or new realms, whatever it is. There's definitely opportunities there where they could incentivize subscribing and get a bunch of people subscribed, right? Like even if they get, let's say, 100,000 people, right? 100,000 times what is it, 1999? That's about $2 million minus 30% cut from Apple. You still make 1.4 million. I think that's a nice way to bring in some extra profit for really not having to spend any extra money out of your own pockets, type of thing. So there's 100%. There's a lot of potential there with the subscription, the VIP, and all that. And they might even introduce, with this method, brings them the avenue where they could introduce advertisement into the game. And if you don't want to see advertisement, then you can subscribe to the app. But if you're using the free version, the quote unquote free version, I don't know why it's called the free version. You still have to pay in order to play. But if you're using the quote unquote free version, you get advertisement, and that's another stream of revenue, and that'll also incentivize more subscriptions, et cetera, et cetera. So it definitely opens up a lot of doors, I think.
Don't scare me like that because I'm the same person who doesn't pay for YouTube, who doesn't pay for any of that stuff. and and I hate ads, and I think everybody hates ads. But yeah, if you want to give me another excuse to not, not want to see ads, I guess that would probably be it. But I think at some point, obviously, I always come back whenever somebody talks about like businesses and ads and things like that. I always think of what's it called? Facebook, the Facebook one, social network, where there's like it's too early for ads, and it's like it's still popular, blah 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 blah. Like I wonder when ads will come to like move to earn apps and things like that, because obviously as soon as they come in, that changes the dynamic completely. And now all of a sudden you have people that are like, okay, well now that they've basically completely exploited it to marketing, now I don't even want to take part of it. So I think that opens up a lot of hate, but also, maybe, as you said, maybe it motivates them to go to the right direction, and then they make money in a different way. I think giving them also money options is great, because then if they have more options to make money in different ways, maybe those GST buybacks or those shoe burns or those things like that we said they should do because they're sitting on all that money, maybe they do more of that because now they have more money coming in a different manner, right? Because before, I think they were probably scared if they did one thing or another thing or another thing. I think with the GST buybacks and things like that, obviously it would just crash even further. But I'm going to start I'll say a final conspiracy thing because Jonathan joined. But I'll say I personally think that they've been feeding the 5 cent GSTs on both realms, ensuring that they don't drop any further, to make sure that the game still plays relevant. And you were talking about ETH and APROM obviously crashing 85%. As soon as I saw it, didn't think it would happen that fast. I don't think anyone did. But I personally think that now everything reaches an equilibrium. Shoes are more or less the same price on every realm. Gems will probably be more expensive on the progressional realms. For example, ETH. If you look at ETH right now, I think it's about $250 for like a level 2 gem. BNB, I think it's something like $50 for a level 2 gem. I'm talking, I think it's like efficiency was I checked. And then I think on Sol it's something like, I think $20 or something, $25. So I think you're still going to have that progressional difference between them because of the cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, I think that they're going to be about the same, and then people are going to play on whatever realm fits them the most based on what cryptocurrency they have.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna let it. I don't like to make any decisions. As soon as everything comes out, I like to let it kind of sit for a little bit and see how. I like to see what everyone's reaction is to it, and just kind of think it through. I agree with you. I don't like ads. I don't think anyone likes ads. But it would, I think, help to bring more sustainability to the project overall. Maybe it could be, you just have to watch an ad after your run or before your run, something like that. It doesn't have to be super in your face type of thing either. But I don't know. We'll have to see. And again, I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying that ads are coming into the game. I haven't heard anything about ads coming into the game. I was just kind of speculating on that because I do think that this gives now the option to bring ads into the game and incentivize people to subscribe. So now they're going to either incentivize you to subscribe or you're going to have to watch the ads. Either way, they'll be able to make money off the users, regardless if you're subscribed or not. So I thought that was just an interesting speculation there. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get Jonathan on here now because we're running low on time.
No worries. Thanks for having me up, bud.
No problem, Cozy, man. Thank you for coming up here. Jonathan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Jay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine, man. How you doing?
Okay, perfect. Just like Cozy, I was watching your videos. That's what got me on STEPN all those months ago. I won't take up much time. I just had a thought because, like most people, when I went through this morning and checked on what all the updates are, the first thing that went through my head was GTFOH, like no way in hell, right? And then why would you so it didn't make sense to me, but so I was salty. But everything in life always makes sense. When something doesn't make sense, it means something's going on. So I always try to make sense of things. And the only thing that makes sense to do the 2000 GMT upgrade is if I was a mint farm and I was minting even 25 shoes per day or maybe per week, that spending $2,000 for that 1% chance or 5% chance out of the shoebox, like that would make sense. So it makes me feel like they're expecting a giant influx of users because while they said they don't like mint farms, if they have a big influx of users, it's almost a necessary evil because you have to have somebody producing in mass and quickly the shoes for the new users to buy.
Yeah, I mean, I 100%. And that's insane. Did you say that you were doing that many mints a week, or that just a mint?
No, that's the only thing that would make sense to me.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
who
okay.
would pay 2,000 GMT? Well, I would if these conditions existed.
Right. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it now. Yeah, 100%. But again, like that, the thing with that, that's for big players. It doesn't really have any other effect on any the larger part of the community.
Correct. I think this is the last thought I'll leave everybody with, but I think a lot of the saltiness in STEPN is identity confusion. The only way for any play to earn game to work in tokenomics is to separate the people that are generating the token with the people that are utilizing the token. So for STEPN, it's the miners, those of us that walk every day. And then they've got to have players, people that are consuming. So the identity crisis is not knowing what type of user you are. Are you a miner or are you a player? If you're a miner, you're working on getting to be a big boy. And once you are a big boy, then it will fit. But I think a lot of people that I see complaining have an identity crisis. When a certain feature comes out that doesn't affect me personally, I feel a little salty because I want to do everything. But it comes down to identifying that I want to be a miner, right? Or I want to be a player. Then if I pick a route, I can be happy with the route that I picked.
Right. Yeah, and it makes sense. And the way you have to think about it is, and I understand, is that yes, they're targeting people that are coming and spending a lot of money, right? Because if you think about it, that's the way an economy really works. Like you do things for people that spend a lot of money, and that long term affects the smaller people. Usually, it's supposed to in a positive way because they're either burning up more, GMT, more GST, whatever the case is. It's overall it's supposed to positively affect the smaller players. So that's why the thing. But then it comes like, okay, but now the smaller players, they basically can't really play the game because all of the new features are only rewarding the bigger players. So that's where a lot of and it comes to like what you're saying. Those people consuming versus those that are just mining. And a lot of the stuff recently in the updates is targeted at the people that are consuming and spending a lot, for the bigger players.
Yeah, so let's applaud those people because they're what give our GST that we're minting everyday value. Yeah, so I mean, I would like its target audience. I do Airbnbs and real estate and all kinds of stuff, and I would love to have the $1,500 a night mansions to put on Airbnb, but I can't. I've got to start with like the the single family like suburbia houses that I can rent for 400 a night. I got to work my way up there. So anyway, I was super pissed this morning and flopping towards bearish, but now that I've tweeted it all out with everybody on Twitter, I'm feeling back to my bullish self. So anyway, thanks for having me, Jay.
No problem, man. And that everything you said, makes 100% sense. And I understand, the frustrations with especially the smaller players and all that, what's going on. And it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough spot to be in because you probably got in thinking of it, you got into the game when it was completely different, and the game's completely shifted from that state. So thank you, Jonathan and Cozy, both of you guys for coming on here today. Appreciate you guys. The last thing that I want to touch on today is and I see I want to answer a few questions on YouTube. So those of you on YouTube, if you want to ask any questions, drop it in the chat right now, and I'm gonna look through them in a few. But the last thing that I really want to touch on is you know, there is and I spoke about this in the beginning. There's a lot of new updates, a new, you know, shiny new toy syndrome, but nobody has been talking about what's going on in Ethereum. You know, the thing has dropped 85% in the last 2 weeks, and it's, you know, this realm is not even a month old. So I'm very, very interested to hear and see what the team has to say about this on the town hall. So I'm hoping that they address this, because I think this is very, very important thing to be addressed. If this is not addressed on why this is happening, you know, don't even think about creating another realm, right? Because now, how they're going to sell the fourth realm if the third realm hasn't helped GST overall on realms 1 and 2? How is it going? How's the fourth realm now gonna help? How are they gonna sell that to help realms 1, 2, 3, right? So I think that's something that definitely needs to be addressed in the town hall. I'm hoping that gets addressed in the town hall. I'm hoping they don't, you know, try to dance around the bush, beat around the bush, whatever you want to call it, because that is very, very concerning to me to see. And they're putting a lot of pressure, I think, on making GMT, the release of it, of making it work, because right now, you know, the excuses for GST is GMT earning is not out. Before that, I think the excuse for GST, you know, and the excuse to launch a third realm was to fix realms GST on realms 1 and 2. So it keeps feeling like there's always an excuse on why prices are falling. Before that, the excuse was that we're in a bear market, and that one I totally understand, because we are in a bear market. But if we're gonna wait for a bull market, I'm sorry to say the bull market's not coming for at least another year or two. The next bull market I'm expecting in crypto, I'm expecting 2024. So 24, 25 is when I'm expecting the next quote unquote bull market for crypto. So if we're waiting for the next bull market, we're going to be waiting for about a year and a half until we see that. You know, I don't know how many more excuses you can make holding off for a year and a half. So I look, I'm invested in all three realms. I have money in all three realms. I have sneakers on all three realms. I obviously want these prices to go up. But again, like, now the excuse for this third realm is that because GMT earnings are not out. GMT earnings is supposed to be the savior for all of STEPN. But what happens if it's not? Right? That's my question, because then what? So they're putting it. There's a lot of pressure on the team now, I imagine, for GMT to work. It has to work. If it doesn't work, it's pretty much the end. Is what I'm thinking, because then what? Like, what's gonna fix it if GMT doesn't work? And what my fear is that this is something that it hasn't been tested. Right? This is an experiment. I'm sure they can run models in the backgrounds and all that, but this is, at the end of the day, it's still an experiment that hasn't been tested, you know, so we don't know if it's going to work or not. It's still a big question mark, you know, and there's a lot that's going into this. So again, I want this to succeed. I really do. I want to see it succeed. I'm hoping that when GMT comes out, that it helps, you know, GST prices and all that. And it does make sense theoretically that with GMT earnings, GST prices should go up, because there's going to be less people earning GST. There's going to be more people burning GST in order to get a GMT earner, et cetera, et cetera. So theoretically, it makes sense, but again, it's an experiment. We don't know what's actually going to happen. And what we're seeing right now on round 3, down 85% in the last 2 weeks. And if the excuse is, it's only because GMT earnings aren't out, and then GMT earnings come out, and nothing really happens, it's gonna be difficult. We'll be in a very, very difficult spot in that point. So just something to keep in mind. I'm not trying to be bearish, but I'm trying to point out all the different variables that we're going against and that we are facing, and that we have to. And at the end of the day, it's an experiment. So that's something that nobody is talking about. So I wanted to make sure that I touched on it. Because it's a reality of the game. You're not going to hear anyone from the team probably speaking on these things because, again, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to bring up these things because it's not it's not the message the team wants to put out, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in the contracts. So nobody's talking about this, so I have to talk about this. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk on. Just wanted to kind of bring it to the forefront so that people are aware. Don't just start aping into anything. Don't expect GMT to be the savior. There's a scenario where it can help, and there's also a scenario where it might not help. So you have to be ready for either scenario. I'm a person that's been a trader for, with crypto, stocks market, everything. And I make all my decisions based on probability. You have to be ready for every scenario. So you got to be ready in the scenario that it does work. What's your plan? In a scenario that you're wrong and it doesn't work, what's your plan in that scenario? Usually the way that you mitigate risk in a scenario where things go wrong is by not, only risking what you can afford to lose. Keeping your risk as low as possible and having an exit plan. So I definitely want to make sure that everybody's thinking about that. At the end of the day, this is an investment. That's why people care about ROI. If you didn't have to put money into it, people wouldn't care about ROI. But because you do, people will care about ROI at the end of the day. Although it is also for your health and it 100% helps, that's not people's main concerns when they're putting money into a project. They don't put money into a project for health. They put money into a project for ROI. So that's the main concern. And I just want to make sure everybody has that, not to focus on that, but that they know that that's a possible scenario. So I'm gonna go across. I'm gonna look up some questions here on the YouTube chat to see what's going on. Let me see if I got any. I'm not sure where I started here. Let's see. So Lang, I don't know if this is a question. It looks more like a statement. Lang said, one point I disagree about the 2000 GMT cost is that GMT could now go to 10 cents in no time after earnings drops. I don't think so. And there's been, so the reason GST goes down is because it's unlimited, right? So when it gets printed, the value goes down because it's unlimited. There's inflation. So the way that GMT is supposed to work, it's supposed to be deflationary. It shouldn't be inflationary the same way that GST is set up. So there shouldn't be a scenario where GMT drops to 10 cents. Because if that were to happen, that would not be good at all. So I don't envision a scenario where GMT drops to 10 cents. Now, can it happen? Of course it can happen. But right now, that's not really the focus, I think. I think everything right now is pointing for the value of GMT to go up, and everything that the team is releasing in these updates and all the GMT use cases. I think the whole point of all of these is to make the price of GMT go up, not to go down. I think the value of GST can go down, which is under 10 cents now. But I don't think GMT will reach that spot. Let's see what else. Looking for the next question. James Murray says, GMT has gone up. Do you expect it to continue going up in the short term or go back below $1 pretty quick? So GMT, from what I've seen, and if you pull up the graph, it basically moves with the market. So if you want to follow the overall market, you can look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is pretty much sets the standard for every other coin in the market right now, including GMT. And GMT pretty much moves with the market is what I've seen. So you can see today, for example, today's actually up this is the last 24 hours. But for the most part, it's been moving with the market. So can it go below $1 again? Yes, 100%. It was recently below, I believe. It was down at like 90 cents just, a few weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago. And it could definitely do that again, depending what the overall market does. So I think that's, when thinking of which way GMT is going to go, you have to look at probably the overall market because it pretty much follows it. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, still more GMT stuff. This one is, what the future safe plan for small shoe owners like me never get any gems from level 1, level 2 mystery boxes. Yeah, so I mean, and I feel you on that, because on the Ape Realm, I only get level 1 and level 2 mystery boxes, and I've probably opened 20 to 30, maybe more, level 2 mystery boxes, and out of those, I've gotten 2 gems, 2 level 1 gems, and 0 scrolls. So, in reality, the game is not made for the smaller players. It's made for the bigger players. And then that's supposed to help smaller players by, burning sneakers, by burning GST, making the price of GST go up, et cetera, et cetera. Supposed to help the smaller players. The smaller players' role is it's a smaller overall role. So what's the future plans? Right now, the plans is the GMT earnings, like we spoke about before. But again, there's no certainty. We just got to kind of wait and see what happens at this point once that's released. Let's see what else. All right, so Abraham says, I'm a Bored Ape Yacht Club holder, and basically my circle of friends all played for a couple of days. Then we dumped everything. I mean, thanks for a couple of Ethereum, but they really screwed it for you guys. Well, that doesn't sound like a question. It's more like a statement. But yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it, and that's pretty much, I think everybody knew that was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. So I know there was a lot of posts from Bored Ape Yacht Club holders saying, thanks for the free Ethereum, and they pretty much all dumped on everybody. So we made the rich richer, right? And that was a lot of the community blowback was because of that. I think in the future, hopefully that's a lesson that they learn, and hopefully they instead of just rewarding a random circle of people like Bored Ape Yacht Club holders, they should reward people playing the app and playing the game. Stop trying. I don't know. I just feel like that wasn't a good move. I think the whole community felt the same way, and we saw the result of that. So which wasn't very good. Let's see. Yes, smash the like button if you guys are on YouTube. I'm looking for one more question. Datum Data said, Jay, did you see the movie Don't Look Up? So you are those 2 scientists. They're not hearing you until it's too late. Yeah, that could be a reason. Let's see. Trying to see if there's anyone else asking anything different. GMT earning call. Yeah, I don't really see any other questions. I think most of these questions are mostly focused on GMT earning. I think I've covered all the GMT earning questions. I don't have anything other to say about that. So I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. We've been live for about an hour and 16 minutes. So this is going to be our shortest live stream ever. I'm trying to keep these down to an hour so it could be easier for people to listen to. We pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. We spoke about GST and GMT prices. We spoke about the new update. Don't forget, we have the new, there's a town hall happening, I believe, on Wednesday. I will be live streaming that town hall. So if you guys wanna hop on here on the YouTube side, and watch and listen, we can listen together. I'll be streaming it live, and I'll be giving some initial reactions on it, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm not completely disappointed with the update. I thought there were some steps in the right direction, but I also thought there was some things that just overall didn't really make any difference to the project, and it's only for the big players. Those are kind of my initial thoughts on that. But I want to see in the town hall how they break it down, what they speak about, and I want them to explain it a bit more, and I want to see. I'm hoping that they address the situations going on right now in the GST Ethereum side, because that thing is dropping like a rock. It's down 85% in the last 2 weeks, and we need that to be addressed and to know what is going on there. Because if that fails, then I'm not sure, if we can just keep pointing at different things to be the savior for the previous thing. So that's something that I'll be looking forward to hear. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Cozy and Jonathan. You both hopped on the stage, gave some thoughts, concerns, some ideas. And I appreciate everybody on the YouTube side, everyone that asked questions and participated in the chat. Thank you guys all. I'll be dropping. I'm trying to drop a new video on Wednesday after the live stream. I'm not sure on what yet. There's some more crypto related videos that I'm trying to do. I also have something with Genopets I'm trying to do. So expect those in the next week or two. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on the next one. As always, guys,
Twitter Spaces,
peace and love.
So I'm still here with YouTube only now. But yeah, the next move, just answering some questions here, is Genopets. I'm in Genopets. I recently got in. I am waiting on more codes. I don't have any more codes right now. I actually have, and this is some alpha for you guys on YouTube. I actually have a sit down. I'm gonna have a sit down with one of the founders of Genopets. So I'll be talking with them. I'll be seeing, I'm gonna try to get some more codes. I should get some more codes for you guys, and I want to try to get one of them on the channel for an AMA. So I'm also going to be doing an introduction video on Genopets and a white paper breakdown where I'll be talking about how their tokenomics works and how it's different from other play to earns and move to earn games. Prices are pretty expensive. I think if you want to buy into it. Now, the thing with Genopets, you can get in for free. You don't have to buy into it. It's just going to take you a very long time to actually make money. So if you want to buy into it to make money as soon as possible, you do have to pay anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 right now, depending on the prices. So I'll be covering it a lot deeper in a future video, guys. Don't worry, I got you guys. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna try to set that up. I'm setting up the video I have for Genopets. I have a meeting with the founder, and I'm gonna try to set up an AMA with the founder as well. I think that'll be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, for sure. You can tell them to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. If they send me a DM, I could usually, I think on Twitter I see DMs more, because on Instagram I get too many, so it's hard to see all of them. So yeah, if you want to send me a message, DM me on Twitter, Bitcoin X Daily. But that's it, guys. I am out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, guys, peace and love.